Alright, welcome back to Strength and Speed. Here we are back at World Class Motors once again. Every time they get some new toys in, they call us out to come check them out. Of course, how can we say no, because we love anything with a motor. Today we've got the 2018 Mercedes G63 AMG. It is finished in a matte black. It has 5.5 liters, 563 horsepower, and I believe 561 foot-pounds of torque. And I will say, to say the least, that this thing does get up and go for how big and bulky of a vehicle it is. I was super impressed with that. As we walk around the vehicle, to talk about some highlighted things, of course you have bigger brakes. Since it's an AMG, you've got bigger brakes and rotors. As you can see, this is on I believe a galvanized A-frame, which means that there is no rust. Basically indestructible as far as the rust and the underbody carriage and how it holds up. I was making some jokes about how this looks like a safari vehicle, and I literally think that it is to me. It's more of a luxurious safari vehicle, but nonetheless. Moving around to the back, as commonly as you see with all G-Wagons, you're going to have the box shape. Unless you get a delete, they're going to come with the tire case in the back. This is the new style G-Wagon, or the latest style G-Wagon that is out right now. One of the favorite features of people that have G-Wagons, people that you notice, I guess I got it locked, but it's how the door closes. There is no soft close on these bad boys. You literally slam it shut. That's what everybody's addicted to. There's exhaust that comes out on both sides. You'll notice there's two tips on this side, two tips on the other side for a quad tip exhaust, but they come out right underneath, which gives it a nice little sound inside the cab when you're driving. So as I said, this is a 5.5 liter bi-turbo, and by Mercedes bi-turbo, obviously if you can't put it together, is twin turbo. Okay, so immediately, the very first thing that I noticed in getting in here, and mind you, never driven a Mercedes SUV of any sort whatsoever, so I knew this was going to be a different experience, especially because I have friends that have G-Wagons. I knew and have heard that they don't drive very well, they're not very comfortable as far as suspension and things like that. But the very first thing I personally noticed is that the steering is so much more tough than any other car that I've ever driven. It's almost like it doesn't have power steering. And I don't know if that's accurate or not. Better put this on. But it feels like it doesn't have any power steering at all. It's actually pretty heavy to turn. First thing I don't like is it has auto start, auto stop, which I'm sure we could just turn off. And I will explain this. I know a lot of people are into kind of investigating and doing their research and letting you know all the little tricks about a car, the comfort features and things like that. And that happens quite a bit on YouTube especially, but I'm going to switch it up, and we're doing things backwards. We are going to learn about all of these features and explain them as we find out more about them and more in depth. That way you can get our honest, raw opinion and not be biased based off of something we're looking forward to checking out. Well, that's cool that they...
First time in the G-Wagon.
See how it's parked. Or how the rear view camera displays while you're in the car wash. Alright, man. We'll put these on. Well, first time in the car wash in the G-Wagon, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I like the G-Wagons. I've never been in one though. So that's cool to actually see it.
So we'll go the long way back. I mean, honestly, I think everyone's issues with how rough it rides are either because they're used to being in a pure luxury car, nothing sport related or off-road related, or that they were basing it off of some of the older models, because a lot of the people that I know that were saying stuff, they happen to be older model G-Wagons or the previous generation before this one. Because honestly, I feel like it feels pretty solid.
Yeah.
It's not as rough as I expected. My Denali truck that I had that I lifted was a lot more rough, in my opinion, than this. Some of the cool things I like, I don't know if you can see up here on the gauge cluster, but there's like dry carbon in the center of the tachometers. I mean, honestly, for an SUV, that feels pretty solid.
Yeah, it's pretty. Throws you back a little bit.
The power was consistent. It sounded pretty decent. It needs to have a little bit of more of a exhaust note on it. But I'm impressed. I feel like we should be in a safari right now, and we should be like in the jungle, and we should be like taking people on tours looking at panthers, but like in style. You know, like we could throw a couple white ladies in the back with some like hats on, like they're going to church on Sunday, but in the safari while we're looking at wild animals. I don't know, it feels entirely sturdy. It feels like you could go off-road with it. It feels like if you needed to accelerate and you needed to, you know, get out of the location that you're in for a minute, that you'd be able to do so. It's got enough pickup for that. I mean, overall, I like it. I know a lot of people have mixed reviews on the looks because it's more boxy, but I actually kind of enjoy that look. It's not a common look. It looks more rugged than a like Jeep Wrangler would be, and this definitely drives a lot different than a Jeep. Talking about crappy suspension and you know, the way the car drives, it's not a very driver car. Everything feels cheap and loose. That's exactly how I feel about Jeeps. This is the opposite of that. But some of the things that we've been able to notice that are kind of cool, intricate pieces of the car is there's little gloss carbon all around. So you have them on the door panels here. You have them through the center all the way around your unit here. There's automatic sunshades that come back, so you can't manually. It's all automatic. There's also cool little carbon fiber inserts here, as well as an extra little space here where you can store things, since the glove box is tiny. There's heated seats, cooled seats. We have heated mirrors. Basically every option that you can think of on a car in the car, as well as the rugged sturdiness that comes with the G-Wagon. You get the luxury on the inside, and you get the performance of the off-road mixed with the speed and the horsepower that comes with the AMG package that they put on this, which actually I think it all complements itself very nicely. On the inside, you feel comfortable. You feel like you can get up to speed enough if you're used to having cars and you love driving cars. But you also feel like, hey, if you need to go off-roading or you want to go camping or you want to do anything like that, you're not worried about tearing up your nice, luxurious G-Wagon. Definitely something on the bucket list to have. It wouldn't be my first or second vehicle. It'd probably be more like my fifth or sixth because I've got quite a few I want. And this isn't a sports-related car for me. This would be more of a family car that I'd like to have to take trips in out of town, and just not really worry about where I'm going or what I'm doing. It's got enough pickup. It's not huge on space on the inside, but it's got enough room for me and my family. But I love trucks. Obviously, you know, I love cars. But this is kind of a good mixture in between. It gives you the performance of a decently fast car with the off-road capability of, you know, a truck or an off-road vehicle. So it definitely feels sturdy. It feels like you're safe in there. It feels like you know, at any given moment, if you want to turn off the road and go through a ditch and land up on the other side just for the hell of it, it's something that you're more than capable of doing. So it's kind of intriguing from that standpoint, just to have something different. And the last thing that I think that would put it on my bucket list to get is that it is unique. You don't really see these driving around. I don't live in California, we live in Indiana. They're not uncommon, but they're definitely not common. Alright guys, thanks for joining us again. Please remember to like and subscribe. We're trying to build this channel. We're doing new things. We don't do car reviews. This is a new process. So within that new process, we figured we'd do it our own way, which is kind of learn like everybody else does. We learn as we go. We don't need to study a textbook. We love vehicles. We understand everything about them. So part of the exciting part is just going through with you guys to give our honest reviews, our honest opinions of what we think, what we feel, and not be biased on anything else. So if you like the content, if you want to see more, like, subscribe, and check out our channel. Otherwise, you guys take care.